This conference will now be recorded.
Good morning, and it's exciting to see so many residents out there, plus the committee members. And I just want to remind everyone that the committee will do their work. You're welcome to listen. We'll have an opportunity for you to have input as we get towards the end of this. We'll be here exactly an hour and 12 minutes. If you think I'm kidding, at 12 minutes after 12, we're done. So you've given your time to us, and I want to be respectful of your time. So since we last met, I don't know how many of you have had an opportunity to talk to neighbors and other things about what's going on with the committee, and that is just fine. It's good to share those things because we can get more ideas from residents. So the agenda for today is we want to solidify the problems. We have them listed. You have them at the table, each of you, and we want to make sure that those are the ones we want to be able to address. Uh, we don't need at this juncture to have addressed this one first, this one second, this one third, because as we get into this, we're going to find that some of those are really easy, and we might be able to do 3 or 4 of those things immediately. Others may take a bit longer. I do want to caution all the committee members that we are very early in the process. We haven't even begun to discuss, we will today, but we haven't even yet begun to discuss the solutions. And I'm guessing we'll have a variety of those. But for anyone to become the expert on all things trash, first of all, you're way smarter than me because we've been dealing with this issue as long as there's been a resort here. So I suspect it might take us a few meetings to get to the point where we're comfortable sending to BGM and then to the board our recommendations for solutions. The one thing that is constant that I have not heard from anyone on the committee is that we just forget about trash and take all the dumpsters away. That hasn't been anyone's recommendation that's sitting at the table. Probably not anyone's recommendation in the audience. I do want to, Cheryl, do you want to do that or do you want me to do it? Okay, I'll do it. We have had contact with the city of Surprise, and there's some good news there. As you are aware, not far from here is a recycling center for cardboard. There's no charge. You don't have to submit a property tax statement or anything. They don't ask. You can take all of your cardboards in the interim before a solution is reached by this committee and by the board. That is available free of charge. There's also 2 days during the year, which the city of Surprise will come to your lot and pick up hazardous waste at no cost. I recall having to drive out by the city plant years ago to get rid of paint and some other things.
So when they can't hire you, you said it was 2 days. Does that mean like 2 days for each lot or 2 days for everything?
There are 2 days during the year that the city of Surprise will pick it up at no cost. Now, there are some other places in the city that there are times and dates. Cheryl talked to him yesterday.
So what they have is twice a year, they have hazardous waste pickup throughout the city. I'll publish more information later, but what happens is that you call them during a specified week, because obviously it impacts their work. So they have a specified week where you can call in, make an appointment, and when you do that, they will tell you what your day is that they will be out to pick up your hazardous waste. And they will come to your lot. Doesn't have to be taken anywhere else. That being said, it is also not a Happy Trails wide appointment. You have to make your own appointment.
So is there a number to be accessed?
We're going to publish that number, and we will put it in every blast that talks about anything related to recycling or garbage. No, because uh, we're not a city of 5,000 people anymore. There's over 170,000 people in Surprise, and they have a schedule that gets them around the entire city. So a resort-wide pickup might have 2 people, might have 20, might have 500. And so that's why they've done the individual. You call in, we'll tell you what day we're coming, and we'll get rid of your stuff. I suppose it wouldn't be prohibitive if you and your neighbor decided that you could put that stuff out between your lots, but we didn't. We'll get some more information because we don't know all the answers.
We do have some questions. If I will add, please speak into the microphone. We do have some folks on via GoToMeeting.
You hear me? Yeah. I just want to know if you had an address for that cardboard repository.
Yes, cardboard is separate. You can take cardboard today. Barbara, you took it yesterday, didn't
Yeah,
you?
give everybody the address to put that in.
Yeah, we'll be putting that in the Friday blast today regarding the recycling center. They are on Litchfield Road. They're open Tuesday, Wednesday, and Saturday, 8 a.m. to 11 a.m., 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Saturday. All recycling material must be separated correctly, and cardboard must be broken down for them to accept it. There's no restrictions on how much they will take, but it must be broken down.
Gary?
So you're saying, is that 2 days per lot in here?
Per year.
Per
2
year?
days per year.
Per lot.
It could be per lot, yes.
Right, no, what I'm saying, I can call them, they'll come to my house twice, they'll come to somebody
Yep.
else's house twice.
Yes.
What if she called a month later?
It's only twice a year.
They have all of that will be published, and this is just one more piece of information that we've gathered since Tuesday. So we're just trying to bring you up to date with where we're at with that process. So today we want to finalize. All of the members have a printed sheet that was handed out to you. We want to finalize what the committee considers as problems. And then we will begin to narrow and provide and submit and have questions about solutions. And we're going to use a process similar to what we did on Tuesday when we get to that last stage. The first one is pretty simple. And that is all the committee members have a sheet of paper that has those problems that were identified on Tuesday. The first thing we're going to do, we need one person at each table to record this real quick, and we're only going to do this for about 8 minutes, I suspect, to identify if there's anything listed as a problem that you do not perceive as a problem. So we'll eliminate those to begin with, and then what we have left is what we're going to deal with.
May I ask you if we could step back? I've had conversations with neighbors and people that are concerned. You had mentioned that budget and amounts weren't a problem. There's a lot of folks that want and need to know where we're at budget-wise and what we're spending. Can we add that to the cons,
we
please?
can add that. We spend a little over $100,000 for the in-ground trash and about 88 or something like that
Somewhere in the 70
for the
grand.
bulk trash.
I have a few figures that if we have time, I'd like to share about budget.
Share them at the committee. We'll get them back to the total, and then all of the committee members will have an
Okay,
opportunity to talk
great.
about it. Yep. Okay, so what we want to do now, first thing, and Mike is going to write them down, is identify anything on that list that you've been provided that is not a bleed and die issue relative to garbage, trash, pickup, all of those things that we discussed on Tuesday. So at each table until 15 minutes after 11, which is 5 minutes from now, if you would get that done, then we'll give that to Mike, we'll put it up here, and we'll spend the next 2 or 3 minutes discussing them and then decide whether they stay on the list or they're removed.
What's small lots means on the list? Small lots. Is that what that means? What's considered a small lot?
So small lots was established on the list due to just observation of what Happy Trails is. The concern was the lots are very small. If there's not trash locations, will the trash overflow on the small lots? Will you be able to see, cardboard and stuff piled up around the home, behind the home, whatever that case may be? So that's where you'll see small lots.
Okay, you've got 4 minutes and 45 seconds left.
Corrected by just doing a couple of things, having somebody there, or having somebody there in charge.
So you can take that off the
Well, these are the problems. And you're one of those. Problem? Yeah, put your name right. I'm always a problem. I'll tell you. It makes sense that they kept it. But not necessarily rights.
You know, what isn't on here was the people who said that live on the golf course, they have to pick up the debris from the golf course. That might put it in our zone. I'm not either. And I say scratch it. Like debris, branches on a tree, or they were put stuff in a pile and then they were fixed.
That would have to deal with the golf.
I think that needs to, yeah.
That's on their lot, and it's their.
I've never seen them dump their stuff.
No, because our residents, because they live on the golf course.
They pick it up.
They pick it up. Oh, because Jason will take it away.
I think if they called it, they would come pick it up. 'Cause I see them do
Dumpster
that.
to trash ratio. This guy
I live on 14.
instead of. What is our maintenance people for?
Cleaning up the whole
Huh? No, no, but I mean, if they clean up. I don't think there's a ton of
Scratching
people.
anything from this list? Are we scratching anything that isn't important? You know, the other thing I thought. The other thing I thought.
Or whatever.
We go. Can't we pick it up? Yeah, I know you guys did, but that was all Ad-Hoc. You didn't have to hire anybody.
Mattress that was there today, I can't pick up.
That's where, because they're not.
Was one leaning up against the end of one of the white
But
dumpsters
roll on
today.
you need to be in the counter or in what do you call it, on here. Ramp down.
One of you guys drinks the water.
Oh, right here.
Yes.
Somebody died. It's the same as yard sale. It's the same. Contractors should not be able to use those dumpsters. Okay, owners should hold his solution, but we're not gonna talk about today, his solution is right. It should have a small dumpster there. Hold on. Both furniture.
We were giving up according to people, we're spending $46,000 a month.
Okay, I agree with you, but we're not gonna get to the bottom.
For garbage. He said that's costing him
You're absolutely right.
He doesn't know what.
Cardboard is broken down. Okay, how you gonna get
What
people
people.
non-residents? You know, I may shoot them.
I know, but.
Okay, about another minute and we're going to be done with that portion.
They have never done that. And if they do that, it's gonna have to be somebody, not me or not somebody that lives here, because he's gonna get stuck in trouble. Right, right.
Okay, I need,
Yeah, they killed 5 raptors.
I need one person from each group to identify, and this is getting easier if you're in the last group, by the way, because I'm guessing everybody will have it reduced by then. We'll start with this table right here.
Well, I believe our table said everything on the established conflicts should be there. We didn't remove anything except. Oh, well, okay, so yard sales and potential rodents. Well, that was over on the other side, so potential rodents.
The other side is just ideas that people had provided in the last 3 or 4 days that might be
So
solutions.
yard sales, potential rodents, and small lots, right?
Okay? You got it, Mike? This group? Somebody want to report from here?
Bulk furniture, we had down here, non-residents, yard sales, small lots, then connect to contaminants, but that's gonna be covered.
Okay, okay.
They can get power.
Bulk furniture,
It's gonna cost to do that.
non-resident issue, yard sale, contractor use, contaminants, and small lot, which I think no one understands what they're talking about. So we'll
Steve,
separate that one.
are those the ones that they think need to come off the list or stay on the list?
Off.
No.
That's all
Okay.
right. There are no bad ideas.
Okay.
We'll get them all and then we'll just, that's why we're all here.
Okay, the only one we know is a small lot, right? Small lot. The yard sales are,
Well, yard sales is a separate issue.
yeah. I would just say the small lots is the only thing that we really don't think should be on the list. Yeah, but that's one of,
Okay.
he's just trying to get the stuff off.
The other issue is on non-resident. They just want a clarification about whether that's bringing it in from another place across the golf course or something else.
Right, and defining the resident as in who's residing on the property, having permission to use the dumpsters.
You guys have any others?
We don't have any others, but, that are up there, but I'm curious why they've removed what they did. And sometime we need to talk about that.
We're going to do that right now because we want to get down to an exact list of the items that we're going to move forward on. Now, you have 2. Small lots and rodents. Okay, so rodents, small lots,
Yard sale, bulk furniture and contract.
Okay, the items that are on the list at this time that we would not be going forward with are as follows. Yard sale, rodents, small lots, bulk furniture, and contractor use. 2 of those, every table suggested that we didn't need to have on our table, on our plate, are rodents and small lots. Those are two separate issues that need to be addressed someplace else by some other committee. We got enough problem dealing with garbage. We don't need to worry about those two things. All tables agreed on those two things, so they will go off of the list. Now, what's still left on the list of things that people wanted to remove so we didn't have to deal with it were yard sale. And I guess I just want somebody at this table to talk to me about yard sale. Why does that not need to be on the list?
No, it needs to be on the list because that stuff needs to, once the yard sale's over, people need to take what's left over and either take it to Goodwill or call St. Vincent de Paul and have them come and pick it up for free. Hello. And they'll be glad to take it off your hands. So that should be one of our considerations because all that stuff is going to end up in the dumpster. And it definitely needs to stay still on there.
Okay.
Yeah, it needs to be considered.
This table are you guys okay with that? Because there were some at this table, just one of the suggestions, the yard sale. Question over here.
Yard sales only happen twice a year, so that's not impacting our problem.
Well, I don't know. Mike, refresh my memory about why the yard sale thing,
I think that the
I think
general.
what Donna said is what happens, and it depends on how much volume you don't sell at the yard sale. It does impact from the standpoint of filling up the bins on that Saturday. So,
Yeah, it does.
so
It
your
definitely
point
does.
is that's 2 Saturdays a year. Oh, I'm sorry, that's right. 1, 2, and then 1, 2 in the spring.
Steve, I would agree with him. It's a separate issue, but it is an issue that we need to address because it does happen and it impacts the garbage up there. So we need to address it, maybe just.
Okay, if you guys go down and look at the dumpsters once in a while, yesterday I went down there and I saw maybe 10 items in the dumpster that should not have been there. They could have been taken to Goodwill. So I think that's what we need to work on. The yard sales are nothing compared to what's going in there every week. Okay? So maybe we ought to have a place to put all the Goodwill stuff. And then all of us as volunteers, we do a convoy to Goodwill. I got to pick up. How about you?
We can call them or notify them before the yard sale happens. Tell them on this day at this time, come here and pick this stuff up. St. Vincent de Paul picks up, Goodwill picks up.
No, they don't.
There's another one.
Oh, yes, they do.
Salvation Army picks up.
They don't pick up anymore.
Goodwill does not
Maynard.
pick up anymore.
They'll go door to
And
door.
Salvation Army doesn't either.
Maynard, I just saw a Goodwill truck in the community a week ago. So yes, they are now starting to pick up again. They weren't
Okay.
picking up during COVID.
Well, they need to inform the people that I talk to that they.
Yeah,
still
they
pick
do.
up, 'cause
They
I
don't-
was told they don't pick up because it was too costly.
Yeah, the left hand doesn't know what the right
Okay,
hand's
so-
doing.
We
at
need to
Goodwill.
schedule it when we schedule the yard sales. It's super simple. Whoever's scheduling the yard sale schedules the pickups.
It's not the yard sales, it's the stuff that's going in there every week.
One problem at a time.
Right now, make a place to put all this stuff, and let's start that today. Let's do it today. Let's put it in a place, and somebody calls Goodwill every 3 days and to come and pick it up, or whoever. But let's start there. You can talk about this for till a coon's age. You gotta start solving the problem now, okay?
So-
That's a simple problem to solve.
So what I'm hearing is that yard sale, while it's only a couple times a year, still needs to be on there? Is that what I'm hearing? Okay, okay. Bulk furniture, that's an issue for a variety of reasons. One is we must have some people that are a whole lot stronger than I am to get a 7-foot couch in a 6-foot dumpster, but I don't know how they do it, but if Goodwill, you know, and we'll talk about the solution in a minute, but if Goodwill is willing to come as a result of a telephone call, then that's probably a pretty good solution. If they're only willing to come yard sale time, that won't work. So we have to figure out how we got all these strong people in the resort.
And that's another piece of information that I'll gather.
Yeah.
Will Goodwill come? Will St. Vincent de Paul?
We
Will they
need
come
to
to
get
your door? Will they come to everybody's door?
we will call all three of those and
Yeah.
verify what their situation is now.
Yeah.
We'll
Well,
call
right,
we'll
that's
call all of
part of
those
the-
we'll call all three of those folks and ask them under what conditions and what items they will accept.
Steve, I'll do that. I'll do that. Yeah.
I know it's not, am I talking? Monitors are probably the one thing we're in need because we have signs up there now. Nobody follows the signs. Now we're talking about putting something here, putting something there. If we don't have monitors, at least for the intermediate time, this is all going to be a blowover.
I think that when we get to the solution stage, I've heard that from a dozen people. Okay, is there anything else on that list then?
Contractor use.
What?
Contractor use.
Contractor use. I think we have two issues with contractor use. One is I hire a contractor to come in and do some work at my place. He ought to take his garbage with him. But we have folks who say, oh, I can take it up to the dumpsters. The other is we at one point did not permit, but now do, a contractor to bring a bin in and put it in the driveway and fill it and have somebody take it out. And I think when we start talking about solutions, we need to pin that down a whole bunch more than it is now, because the opinions range from I'll take care of it to the contractor has to take care of it. So, you know, when we start talking about solutions, so I'm guessing that needs to stay on there.
Yes.
Everybody okay with that?
Yes.
Okay.
Good.
So now we're down to the working list. So
I've got a question on that contractor. Now, I thought we had a meeting a while back where they said that if you have construction or a contractor come in and do work, he has to bid the job with the removal of the trash that he creates. Now, I've been told that if you own property here, you have the right to tell your contractor or give your contractor permission to dump it in there.
I don't think.
And I've run into a couple instances where I took pictures of this contractor and he said that, oh, it's okay because Mike told me I could dump it here. Or there was another occasion when they were dumping and they said, well, that's okay. Brad told me I could dump it here.
What's happening frequently is that the homeowners are giving authorization to the contractor to take their debris from your property to the dumpster. A lot of times the homeowner is traveling with the contractor to the dumpster to utilize the dumpster. And you're right, currently there is no language that says that I could stop you at the dumpster with your contractor putting things in that dumpster.
Say you're running a little business at your house. I think it should be worded as commercially generated trash, not residential trash, but commercial. If you have a little business in your house, I don't know what it may be. Maybe you're making food for somebody, and each week you get a half a dozen boxes of whatever. That's a commercial enterprise. That cannot go in our dumpsters. That's commercially generated. Just like if you have somebody come to your house to do a job, you have paid this person for a service. That's commercially generated. So I think, like I said, unless it's residential, anything commercially generated, whether you run a little business in your house or not, cannot go in that dumpster.
Okay, and the elephant in the room, which we've not talked about, relative to contractors and home renovation, is Al Strike wants to redo the inside of his garage. No, I used Al as an example because you could probably eat off the floor in his garage. So that's why I used him as an example. But let's say that you're going to tear out 2 rooms worth of sheetrock. Are we going to continue? We have always allowed the owner to do that and take it and dispose of it. And so if we ask commercial people to do that, are we still okay with residents who are doing that kind of work themselves to go up and use the big bins? Okay, so when you start talking about solutions, make sure you differentiate between resident created remodel stuff that's left over and contractor. Now, I think it's possible, and correct me if I'm wrong, Mike
Can I
and
add
Darlene,
something?
I think it's possible for, by rule and through the DRC, to say to contractors, you make arrangements to get that out of here, period, no exceptions. And I don't care what the owner tells you, if you're a contractor, you're going to remove it. I think we can do that by rule, but we'll discuss it. If that becomes an issue with the committee, then, we'll try to put some verbiage to that so that it can be done by management.
And the rules are good. We just got to be able to enforce them.
What about the contractors that live in the park?
If it's not from their own residents. So
When we had recent contractor work done, DRC gives us a form for your contractor to sign. They sign it stating they will take the trash and debris away. To me, when they sign that, that's what needs to happen. Why are we giving this form out? If I could have said to my contractor that would have cost the resort $3,000 to haul away my concrete, oh no, that's okay, we'll just take it up here. If they're signing it and they're agreeing to it, that should be how it is.
I'm not disagreeing with it. I think you're preaching to the choir from my perspective, because it truly is an obligation of the bid and the contractor. He bids it to do that, take off roofing, get it out of here. We don't have a place to put asphalt roofing. It needs to go with them. And so differentiate between the contractor and the local when you do that.
we need to stipulate that all all rebuild, refurbish, all of that goes in the large cans, not the small cans.
Yes.
That goes only in the large cans.
Okay, and we have already received 3 or 4 proposals for the large cans, a way to make them more accessible for our own landscape people, because we have landscape people who work for the resort who can't get up there and get the junk 6 feet over to drop it into the trash that we have. So we need to make sure that that occurs as well. Okay, so now we've got the list. Next 15 minutes at each table. Let's start suggesting solutions to those things that are left on the list as problems, whether it's an attendant, whether, don't care. Just brainstorm and come up with every blessed idea.
Steve, while everybody's doing this, while everybody's doing this, I'd like to make a suggestion that every time we meet, before we go home, we resolve two problems. Okay? Because this is like watching snow melt. Okay? And I just think we need to move along here because we can talk about this stuff for months, but
We're going to be all done talking by the November board meeting, and it will either be accepted or rejected. The objective of this is to get as much input from as many citizens as we can get. And you can't do that without talking. And if you want two settled, I think we can settle two probably in 10 minutes. That's not the big issues are going to take a little more time. May have to go get some answers from some people, and we'll do that. But this is not the military. And we are going to listen to the input from residents. Okay, go ahead. We got about 15 minutes on that. Start with.
What do we think? Make rollouts more accessible or just remove it? I was in the garbage business for 27 years, and I've never, ever had a town have a place free for people to dump. We always had, we had cleanup weeks, and we would put in 30-yard rollouts for them to dump into and get rid of it.
You're making huge assumptions.
What's that?
Yeah. I think until we have access control, nothing will change.
Yeah, it needs to be.
Have to have access control. Whether that's, we cut hours and have somebody up there at these sites or what, but until there is access control, it will change. Be the same.
That's where the signs come in.
And not everybody's online. Signs are also active.
They got signs up there, they don't even read it.
So let me ask a question. The red container.
But they don't, the cameras, they don't take time.
Okay,
But, you know, what do you guys think about putting your lot number on your golf cart? So you can be identified when you come in there. You know, if I'm sitting there looking through the garbage, and the guy comes in, I don't know who the hell he is. And I'm not sure if I should say anything.
Educational, and there is somebody there.
Right.
You don't dump trash.
There you go, yep.
Go up and
You don't- You don't dump. Very good.
No, not for green. Somebody wrote on here the key part. Everybody, a lot of the people that are throwing trash on the ground.
Yeah. And I think that you're right, we need somebody to monitor. But I don't think we need to have it open 6 days a week, like 2 days a week.
not a volunteer, but other outside person be that that has some authority. He has volunteers.
Okay, so what do you think? So what do
I
you think?
can't, I can't see, I can't see why one of our maintenance can't do it because they're so inefficient anyway. You have to take it yourself.
So right now, we're just on one expense.
But their city or town probably had a contract with their garbage hauler to put these.
A monitor.
But I want to plant a seed of the beginning of the roll-off dumpster. Initially, they just had small dumpsters.
I think the only way you're gonna take care of this.
They brought the roll-offs in. The roll-offs were never intended for residents to use. They were originally intended for staff. Because those things are charged by hour. Those small dumpsters are annual contracts. It doesn't matter how many times they take them away or anything, it's the same amount of money. So keep that in mind.
Okay, so if we do, like this is one large, one that is down at the one that normal folks would be in ground, and then the one down in maintenance, they have to take out. They don't.
We have these.
Okay. So then we have to.
I think these people that do their own demolition, it'd be a lot easier for them to have a dumpster there and throw it in rather than throw it in their pickup and then throw it in the dumpster.
There's money there to reduce risk. Space in their create other So what do you do with that? Then you instruct the landscapers to cut it down.
Oh, that's, yeah, because I know, because people. That's gonna be, somebody's gotta be there to educate.
So if you build a ramp.
Got to be there to educate.
Yeah, and you build a hole down below, they get power range.
Pulls up there. It says, "Oh, turn around."
Yeah.
You can turn around.
So maybe we need to have a monitor with a side on it.
There you go. M16 likes your back and forth.
Yeah, none of your business. I hear that quite often.
That's what I need.
A paid monitor is what we're saying.
Yep, yep.
No, our plastic recycling. Somebody put in.
That's why we
But they need to get a list of what's not supposed to go in there and put it somewhere. Now, they had a list on the level by the, and that's gone. They took it down. I don't go on it. I don't go on it. That's what I, yeah, yeah.
Okay, so I.
Until somebody's in your face. Until somebody's in your face.
Because
Hey, my wicked chairs all have a steel frame.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what you're saying.
But they should take the wicker off. Any, like plastic chairs, folding chairs, they're metal, but the plastic is not metal. That needs to come off there and throw the frame in.
Yes, sir. We're gonna have them on. Somebody has to go through it.
No matter what.
Well, that's the only way that you're gonna get accessibility to that roll-up. And if they.
And not all the way to somebody. Because I was in DJ at a business. And somebody interpreted as, oh, all of a sudden I get that card.
We used to have a ranch up here, wood, and it's carpenter shop built. Nice, easy, clean, got the handrails on it, something like that, it worked good. It probably would do it, I'd probably have to charge for material.
Liability.
That used to be there.
On both sides. Yeah.
But then you've got the guy that's packing the dumpster in there.
It's not that hard. I used to walk in
it's
a
not
lot
that
of
hard,
real
but-
tight places.
But you talk to these drivers, they're in a hurry, they're not even looking half the time.
If we have a van, we don't need the cameras. As monetary.
Or just do away with the big. If we're saying that if you have any kind of demolition work done at your house,
They can't get in.
you can't put it in there. It's got to go to the landfill. Okay, yeah, yes, we need one big one, but that should be parked over where the metal. I think that if they would move the metal and the plastic recyclables up where the dumpsters are there, everything would be in one spot. Everything have a sign on it, whether it's monitored or not.
But you know, one spot you said, you're talking about, it's already that way up at the end of Roy Rogers. It's got a fence on it. So you can monitor everybody that comes in. The other spot, you have to build a new fence. So I think everything at the end of Roy Rogers is perfectly monitored.
Metal recycling and the plastic recycling roll on there now.
Yeah, that's what they are.
And another problem with, they say, well, just have park and roll off so people can get in the back. Well, people are not going to walk all the way. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the scrap iron. Right now, they were.
Or just short the roll off. Yeah.
So let's say no, let's see what builder.
We've been lucky because I haven't seen their garbage out. I had a transfer station and I had a 7-foot fence over the top of the damn fence. Yeah. Right here.
That's where the cameras are coming.
What?
Cameras. They should have cameras up there.
They have cameras there, but they don't watch them.
Somebody, nobody monitors it.
Yeah.
Don't they record anything?
No, they didn't say.
They should, because you need to see who's doing what. If nobody's. And if the guy is sitting there looking, what's he gonna do? If he can see your tag or your license
Or if
plate.
we put a lot number on our golf carts, that would help.
It might if it was not something that looked like I wouldn't want any on mine, but I would do it.
Okay, I'd like for the committees now by table, and these guys got by easy last time, so we're going to start with them this time. Are there items on that possible list that need to go away? Mike, you ready?
Yep.
If it's not a money issue, we don't need to increase the dues. If it's not a money issue. And also the trash compactor. There's too much liability. You'd have to have $1 million policy to cover anybody around it. And do we want that liability?
Okay. Now, we're going to discuss all this, so don't anybody panic yet, okay? Is that it from your group?
Oh, we have one more. I'm sorry. On the third item there where it says key cards and transponder, yes. Key card, no, you can pass that card to anybody to use it.
Okay, okay. Key card and transponder, you said transponder, yes, but not key
Steve.
card because you could give it to anybody.
Steve, there was one more he keeps forgetting. The opening of the back end of the big
Roll off.
roll off, it's, if they can't close the door, if it's not all the way in there, and you really want some seniors to crawl in there and push their, yeah.
Okay.
Four things on the end. We go. We know that
You're good.
we know that the volunteer group in activities puts together packets for renters. We should explore what's in there and make sure that the issue of trash is well discussed. We all talked about signage improvements, and we talked to Mike about that. Explore our DRC documents and make sure that it's clear for contractors about hauling away their own trash. It's just an exploration. And the last one is explore including in purchase disclosures about trash and whole house disposals.
They don't make one. Yeah, they do. I've seen them. You can't get any place. You
Okay.
can put your paper
Al?
there. You can't-
Okay, we did have a little concern or question. With a trash compactor, we're going to need power. And so that's a little bit of an issue, but we'd like to see it stay on and we can drop it off later if we want to, but leave it on right now. Schedule open hours and require an attendant was our number one item. We removed and let me go back to that a minute. You know, open hours, hey, we had to change with our mail a couple of years ago and we've made it work. I don't see why we can't make this work if we change the amount of hours that we have. But as far as educating people, the only thing that's going to educate people is having an attendant up there. Without an attendant, nothing's going to happen. Okay, we do want to remove the permanent gate control access key. That's not going to work, not needed with an attendant. Open the rear of the roll off. No, we don't want that. We would like to see some portable ramps so that you could carry your greens up high enough to dump them in the red dumpsters. And you know, the question was for our maintenance people. They use the white ones because they can't reach over there. They got 50-gallon drums there, so.
I think that's something that can be done administratively.
Yeah.
But yes,
Yeah.
I agree with you.
And as far as doing a whole concrete roll down into a hole, that's expensive and it's permanent. Things may change, whereas a ramp is not that expensive. Cameras, don't need them if we have a attendant there. Same with the monetary penalties. We wanted to keep the monthly dues option open because we don't know what any of this is going to cost when we're done. And the last item was, hey, we need in the interim, replace 13 dumpsters. The ones that are taken up for cardboard. I was up there today and those 4 big dumpsters were full of cardboard. people didn't have a place to put their garbage.
You're up.
Monitor. Number one.
Monitor. Yeah. Well, in the old days when I was responsible for 200 or 300 people, I used to always tell them that you can't expect what you don't inspect. So I don't have a problem with that at all. I think that one is spot on. That's it? That's the primary one? Cool. Over here?
So we were entertaining the idea for the trash compactor. We think that that has some merit. The open hours and requiring a monitor, definitely. A permanent gate with a permanent fence, yes. And we did want better signage. I believe we agreed that the monthly dues, that should go, increasing it. The monetary penalties. That, I believe we said, would be just difficult to enforce. And the monitor then is going to have to be responsible there somehow.
Or you're going to have a great camera system,
Yeah,
which we
and
don't
the
have.
camera system, we didn't think spending more money on cameras. Good, good guys, anything else? Okay. That's it.
Okay. 3 and 4. Okay, now, before we go any further, we got 12 more minutes. I didn't hear I want to go down this list. I didn't hear anybody say that monitoring was a bad idea. Okay, is that correct? Okay. So,
Probably the best.
so there's
Excuse me.
one solution that we can take forward, that monitoring needs to be part of the process, period.
Excuse me. That's my question.
It can't be a volunteer. We need to have a person that has the authority to say something and do something and not have to take guff from a neighbor or somebody else. In my judgment.
It might, that'll increase the expenses that we have for the trash.
It might.
And the only way you can limit that is you have to limit the time. Limit the time that you're open, so you don't have to pay the salary for somebody to be there.
That's the second issue. We just looked at the city of Surprise for their recycling. They're only 3 days a week, 4 hours a day. So if we went to 4 hours a day, 5 or 6 or 7, whatever time frame, would be half of doing what we do now.
And if it's successful, where the salary reduces the cost and we can get rid of one dumpster, it might equal out eventually. So that's the kind of thing you have to look at.
If it didn't do anything but reduce couches, recliners, television sets, and other things from even being brought up there, it would reduce that as well. Okay.
Steve, you have to remember, if you get a monitor, if he doesn't show up on the designated day, what do you do?
Fire him, hire somebody else.
Okay, nobody can find any help, but here's my suggestion that you might take, is have a volunteer show up with the monitor every time. Have a volunteer there.
Have two?
So if the volunteer guy can maybe say, look, we're closed today because the monitor didn't show up, or something. But if you don't open the gate on the designated day, you're going to have trouble.
Yeah, I don't disagree with the gate being open when we say it's going to be open and be able to dump. And I don't think I've ever volunteered for such a crappy job in my life, but I'd be willing to do that. I'm already nobody's friend when we get done with this, so I might as well be one of the monitors. All right. So now I'm going to, 1, 2.
Dick Potter. I'd like to address the cost of those things out there. I don't know if everybody's even thought about what the cost is. They're for the above ground red dumpsters, I'll call them, and white dumpsters. That's about $75,000 a year. If you divide that by 2,000 lots, That's about $37 per lot per year for the convenience of having these things out there. That's about just a little over $3 a lot per month. Are we willing to spend a lousy $3 a month to have those things out there so we don't have to take all this down to the dump someplace or something else? The cost is minuscule. I spend that much on chocolate. Yeah, and gas. So, I mean, $3 a lot. Think about it. I want those dumpsters.
So I just want to clarify the numbers that you have. When you say that it's $70,000 just for those red dumpsters, that's not necessarily the case. There's more information that goes into that. Our total costs are about $175,000 to $180,000 a year. Of that, $100,000 of it is for the in-ground. And that, let me finish. The in-ground is for those of us that have in-ground. Everyone in the villas, which is, correct me if I'm wrong, it's over 200 lots in the villas. None of them have in-ground. So part of that additional 70,000 is for them. And I don't have a dollar that figures that. Another portion of it is for our maintenance fees for the maintenance workers. So it's not the $70,000 that's within that. So that's the thing that we need to be clear of. And we all appreciate that there are residents who are willing to have their monthly dues increase. For every person who's willing to do that, there's another person that says, I'm not willing to pay for that. So that's what we all need to take into consideration. It's not just the individual, it's the collective community.
That it costs less than the $75,000
Yes.
or more than the $75,000.
Our total,
Less.
less than that. For every,
$3 a month
mhm.
per lot. Less than $3.
Yep.
Why are we gonna?
I pay $37.50 a month for garbage in Washington State.
We're not. That's the purpose is,
Well, they're going.
no,
Hi, I live in the villas.
we're trying to figure out the
And-
solution that will affect everybody here positively.
I live in the villas and we pay extra so that we can have those dumpsters. And people from the other parts of the. they
Your
come-
extra goes to landscaping.
We.
Your extra
the
isn't for trash
okay, well,
collection, it's
then
for
let's do
landscaping.
away with the landscaping. I don't like that grass anyway.
Good solution.
It's pretty easy to take care of certain people here. Okay, one more.
My name is Ed Heckman, 1296. I've been here 22 years and I've watched a lot of problems come up. Okay. Hello. Okay. I've been here 22 years and I've seen a lot of problems here. And I was in head of the architectural committee and we came up with a plan for the trash area. It was approved by the board of directors and passed, but pending funding. Now, a lot of the problems you're talking about here were already resolved on the set of plans. But, you know, everything's changed since it's been a few years back. And that was even before we had a lot of the recycling. But in my past life, I was a mechanical engineer. And one of the things I look for is problems and solutions. One of the problems, of course, when they decided to do away with the recycle program or the cardboard and paper, if there was, I'm just going to use some numbers. They just say they took those and if you figured out the volume of all the trash or cardboard, I mean, that was there. And what they failed to do was we self-imposed on ourselves problems. They never increased the number of trash cans. How can you do that? You try to just inadvertently say, okay, 10 cubic feet of trash or recycle, we just reduce. Yeah.
So to give a little insight on that is that we had 13 recycling dumpsters that were for for cardboard and paper.
Yeah.
Vista Paper went out of business. That was a service that was provided to Happy Trails for free. We were not paying a penny for the recycling services that were provided. So when those 13 were removed, we had the option to then pay for 13 more, which was not a discussion. That led us to this place that we're in today.
Thank you.
I agree that the monitor needs to be paid and have the authority to be able to tell a contractor to turn their truck around and leave. But I would like to also see volunteers there, because if it's limited in the number of hours, you're going to have a row of golf carts and trucks waiting to get in. And that's a perfect time for a volunteer to educate people as they're waiting in line and possibly turn some people around before they get to the gate.
Point.
Hi, my name is Lori Popper. I'm at 2124. And I agree with the dumpsters not being taken out because I live right by a dumpster. And I have seen a lot of things. I'm home a lot. And I have seen a lot of the contractors dumping off their stuff, the dirt. I've seen dirt. I've seen, the maintenance people, well, they have to put the grass in there, but they could have taken it somewhere else. But here's the thing. I believe that with the villas, and they do come over, people do come over to use it and to dump their garbage or their dog stuff, dog bags. I think that there should be a transponder and or key, maybe just a transponder for our gated dumpster.
So you wouldn't be opposed to some kind of identification at the gate? Be sure we're not paying for brand X. No, to make sure that we're not assuming the responsibility for people on the other side of the golf course or someplace else. Okay. Okay. Now we only got a couple minutes here. One more question, and then we'll wrap up.
I also live in the villas. The problem that we would have with the key or the transponder is the fact that we have to have the top of it open because we can't lift it and put things in at the same time. Well, with it open, people will go by and just throw it over the top and it'll go right into the dumpster. So they're going to get rid of it anyway.
We have a board member whose most famous saying is, "Oh, people are just going to do what they're going to do, and you can't fix it anyway." So if that's where we start from, we're going to move a little forward. I think we have agreement that from the committee that we need to specifically, by rule, establish contractor requirements relative to trash. No contractor trash, period.
Does that include the ones that live here in?
No, that's commercial. Somebody used the word commercial something before, right here. Commercially generated.
So it doesn't.
So as a resident, I can still take my 3 pieces of sheetrock up there and put it away. But if I'm a contractor, I'm making money, I can't do it. That's it. So I think we have agreement on that. His own could do that. Then he can. Okay, second issue I think we have agreement on is that we need to have limited hours and monitoring. Correct? Anybody have an issue with that? Okay. There are some issues relative to maintenance, and I think that needs to be taken care of through management relative to maintenance staff using the white dumpsters.
Okay, but can we go back to the one before with the monitor? I think with the monitor, anybody that goes to dump should be wearing their badge And their name.
Someone
and
earlier
their-
said transplant, name badge and or golf cart identification. You know, we'll figure out what that needs to be, but I think you're,
Yeah,
I
name
think that
badge
went
with their
with that.
name and lot number
Yep.
on it, so the monitor, if he gets
Yep.
any grief from that person, can write that down so
Yep.
they can take care of it.
Okay, Mike, identification, permanent gate, contractor issue, attendant and hours, and then we'll take care of that one with some suggestions relative to, for the greens,
Roll-offs.
the big roll-off dumpsters. And the other thing I think that the committee all agrees on is that DRC should be telling contractors that if you're going to generate X amount of waste or more, you need to have a roll-off there to put it in. Doesn't go up there at all. Yeah,
It does.
it says that, but we haven't, it's been optional, and it should not be optional.
Steve, one more thing. If contractors come in temporarily in the next month or so until we resolve all this, their trailers should be empty of material.
Yeah.
Okay?
They are.
We've been
That's
telling the
not-
gate that
It
that
didn't
was the
happen
case.
Saturday. Didn't happen Saturday.
Again,
We saw-
if we had a monitor there, that contractor would not be allowed to come in and dump. So, you know, and we can do that one by rule. So we've got some progress today. I'm
just
2
have
minutes over.
One
I'm
thing to
sorry.
add, and that is some people aren't educated as to where things go. I know the monitor will help, but signage at the location, greens go in the red things, bulk materials go in the red things. You know, some kind of help for people.
Yep.
As they're approaching, they read it. As they get there, they read it.
Steve, I'd like to ask one more thing of you and your committee. I really appreciate all the hard work and your dedication here. But I would ask, as you're coming up with these solutions, recommendations and all, one of the things, as you know, we're looking at changing the rules and regs. Part of the rules and regs is how we enforce it and any fine that might go with it. So we'll be looking to you to come up with some suggestions on what a possible fine might be that could get people's attention. So
Hey,
think
Barbara,
about that.
a quick comment that's not on the board. I really think this is a mistake if we don't put it back up there. I remember a few years ago, a guy didn't win the presidency because he said, read my lips, no new taxes. If we've got solutions up there and they end up costing a little bit of money, we better have the option open to increase the dues.
How about we pay respect to that comment with increased dues if necessary and approved by board or something like that. Okay, so we've reached some resolution on 2 or 3 things. I can live with those.
We don't need to increase the dues.
We need a time and a date for the next meeting. We can get this room in a similar sort of arrangement. 9 o'clock in the morning on Tuesday next week. 9 o'clock in the morning, Tuesday next week. If you are unable to attend, hook up with somebody so that you can get your suggestions and comments forwarded.
Yes, Halloween.
Okay, we're 3 minutes late. Oh, Halloween? Is that a big deal? Nobody trick or treats in here, do they? I don't.
Steve, one other thing I wanted to add in. Well, before everyone leaves, for a little bit of homework before Tuesday, please think of things that you would like to be on the should not be going in the dumpster list. What's prohibited items for the dumpster? I think that that's very important because it's very vague of what's going to be acceptable in those dumpsters. Please think of what you'd like to be prohibited in those dumpsters. Of course, we have recycling areas. Anything that's reusable. That's vague.
Well, we have some
Next
other
meeting.
things. Paint, can't use paint, can't put paint in. It has to go the other way. Thank you.
You can.
Mike Nice will send out a list of where we're at, the items that has some resolutions to, and the ones that we still have to work on.